Welcome to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. This show is all about honoring you as a spiritual being, having a human experience. You are here for a reason, and it's no mistake that you are here on earth right now. Spirit has guided you to this very moment in time, so you could hear the messages Pam is about to share with you. She is a multidimensional healer, light language channel, transformation coach, wife and mother, committed to helping you discover the tools and practices to empower you to live the best life you can. You get to choose the spirit path you take. You can connect to the spiritual guidance already all around you. Get ready to live a fully empowered life. This is the Empower Me Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Empower Me Show. I am Pam Bright, and I am your hostess for this particular show. Happens every Thursday at noon Pacific time, and I'm here with my new dear friend, Daniel, who is connecting with me, and we're going to talk about all things psychic, as well as what does it mean to be a psychic medium? What is that journey like for him and for you, the listeners? Because I don't know about you, but with all these different terms that are now opening to us as a spiritual being, many people are saying, okay, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. What do all these terms really mean? And so we're going to kind of dive into that today and really explore kind of the world of spirituality and what it means to be opening ourselves up to the vast world of connecting to the divine and the star beings and to our loved ones that have passed on. So all of those things and more are available to you today in this particular episode. And welcome, Daniel. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Pam. I appreciate you having me on. And I was listening to your intro and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I absolutely agree with it, that people can connect with spirit anytime that they want to. They just have to want to do it.
Hey, that's it, right? Yeah. It's a lot about your commitment, folks. So
yes,
if you have a desire, you have a commitment to really following your own heart and your own spiritual path, then this is the show for you, where we get to empower you to make choices that support you and open you up to the world of possibility when it comes to who you are as a spiritual being having a human experience. So before we get any further into this, what I really need for myself, as well as seems to support you as well, those who are listening, is to ground us and get us into our space as an individual and as a collective on this planet Earth. So if you're in a position where you can close your eyes safely without endangering yourself because of driving, or if you're doing something that requires your focus, just know that you can hear my voice and allow yourself to go within, even if you're actively doing something else. So if you can, go ahead and close your eyes. And the reason we do that is to really, it lets your body know, hey, I'm ready for some really wonderful spiritual work now. I'm ready to go within, find out what my barometer in my emotional body is doing, my psychic body, my light body, and allow us to connect with all of the support that's always available to us on a daily basis. So allow yourself to now close your eyes if you can. You might want to grab a crystal or some kind of talisman that indicates that you are going inward. And allow your breath to really bring that divine essence of the universe into your soul, into your heart space. That part of you that is connected always to the divine. And as I do that myself, I invite you to also connect in with the Earth Mother, Gaia, Mother Earth, the planet Earth that we live and breathe on, that allows us to have our being. And we now ask that this living, breathing being that we connect to as Mother Earth, we ask her now to infuse us with her essence, knowing that as we do that, she automatically starts sending us information for our soul body to give us the information that we need today and every day. And I'm going to use some light language to assist with that process. Just allow yourself to listen without judgment and allow your heart to hear this message and hear this transmission, knowing it will directly go down to Earth Mother and bring her energy up into your body system. Anasanahe, nasanahe, anasanahe, anasanahe, anasahi, nasanahi, nahana, anase, nasanehina. So in the middle of the Earth Mother, in the core of her, there are these beautiful quartz crystals that hold her energy in place so that she can rotate easily, navigate all of the systems within her own body, connecting with all of the beings on her and in her. Because as we connect in our own lives, we know that support is everywhere, including inside of the earth. So we now ask those energies from the core of the earth to come up through her and connect with our feet. Anasete dabaidua, anasanahe nanahinua, asanaye. Asanaye, ananaye. And I feel her coming up through my legs. I invite you to really kind of use your own energy to help. I often will do this to bring that energy up with my hands and then bringing it, inviting it up into where I live in my body system. Anasenehe, anahinaya. Anasane, anahinaya. And you might want to connect in with the elementals, the fairy kingdom, really the beings in the cells of the earth that connect in with the cells of your own body. Natetara I nana isanana, he nana, he nana, he nana, he anahi anayea. So as I'm doing that, I'm feeling it in my solar plexus. This is your power center, which connects you fully and completely to all those around you. Inviting in any guides, teachers, and angels that live in the earth to come in for you. Nateramatiki namaniki ii, sana itena nanana, esana nanana, esana nanana, esana ye. And then I invite them into my heart space as well, knowing that the perfect guides, teachers, and angels from the earth herself will come in. Nasana itetatena mantina sana yeki dabaye. O te sarabayeki sana makia. Uta sana ita saneina. So anytime I hear that, what's called keening, that really high-pitched sound, I know that I'm connecting to my Menahui, my friends of the earth that are the fairy folk that are connected to the elemental world. And they work a lot with the body itself, the physical body on the earth plane, and they come in to assist us in grounding and connecting. You might see something else, feel something else, sense something else coming in for you. It's all perfect. And we ask them to now come into the head, working with the brain stem, all of the brain, the left and right hemispheres. We ask my angel Arya, who I connect with, to connect in with my throat chakra. And those of you that know your guides, teachers, and angels by name, I ask you to invite them in as well. And ask them for anything you need today. This is an opportunity for you to get your answers clarified, your answers to that burning question that you've been asking yourself in the deep recesses of your heart. Might be a question you never asked before. And we invite in all of the energies that are of another galaxy, another star system, another multiverse, other than this particular universe that we live in. And we bring in the Pleiadians and the Lemurians. We ask the Arcturians, the Blue Avian. We ask that all of the beings that work in the galactic core come in now to this space. And once again, any beings that you work with that you want to call in, even if you don't know if you work with them, just ask them to come. This is a vortex we're creating now, folks, so that we can be really supported during this time. And we ask the light from Gaia to come all the way up through our bodies, connecting in with our hearts, all the way up through our arms and legs, branching out like a tree limbs up to the sky. And we ask that the galactic sun now, the great central sun, come and assist us in this vortex, in this portal. Anatata tutu dana maete atera mana nekarabaya tu dana esana nekurabayiki ana se e nane karabiichi mana isana maye. Your soul remembers this language, folks. Nothing to figure out. Just allow. Nasane tara ikiki anaki anase 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 anayete. I thank you for all of the support that is here now. And we now open this dialogue between Daniel and Pam and all of those that will be calling in or writing in for support. And as you feel your own body, bring a deep breath in to your heart space and slowly open your eyes. I recommend that you take a deep breath and then drink some water. Water is your conduit for the energy of the earth and the energy of the beings of light that work within you, within all of us. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Daniel, for being here.
That was pretty awesome.
Well, I'm glad. Super.
Yeah. I would rather listen to you than listen to something like Britney Spears or something like that, you know? You had a nice vibrato in your voice.
Oh, thank you. So let's take a moment with that.
Sure.
So since we just met very recently, I'm curious, because you are a psychic medium and you are very connected to the spiritual world. Tell me what you sense or you picked up from that transmission for yourself.
Whenever I meditate, in that sense of meditation, of quieting myself, silencing my mind, I see all kinds of things. my guides, which what we would refer to as archangels, they're not men with wings. I see them daily. I see them right now as we're speaking. If you've ever seen someone, unfortunately, smoking a cigarette, and the smoke comes off of the cigarette like little petals, that's what I see next to me all the time. It never turns off. It never goes away. But when I see them in meditation, I see eyes directly in front of me, and many sets. As you were saying earlier, if you know the names of those who you want to connect with, invite them in. In the very beginning for me, it was just 2 names that I got. And at the time when I was writing my book, there were 15. And that was back in last September. As of 3 days ago, I'm sorry, another one came in. I'm up to 37. I know 37 names of all the archangels that are with me. They touch me on my face for yes and no answers. But they also put thoughts into my mind. I'm only about 15% me now. The other 85% is all them. But when I go into meditation, they show me things. Sometimes they just tell me things. I hear voices and they're just telling me things. But they show me things a lot of times in cartoon form, or just what looks like a real-time movie playing. And that's how I get messages from them. And they tell me it's easy for us to understand cartoons, because when we are away from the world, when we are away from all the mess that's going on in the world, when we do quiet ourselves down, get to that point where we are in a lucid state, then our soul becomes very childlike at that point, because we are now away from everything else, and we are back to what we originally came from. So because we connect very well with cartoons as children, and that's why they show me these cartoons. It makes things a lot simpler. Cartoons don't have to say anything, but they still get the point across. So that's what I see all the time.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So actually, that's a really good thing to remember, all of you who are watching and listening, is that your spirit guides, who are always present,
yes,
are not necessarily going to appear in a physical form to you, or a form that you necessarily even understand.
Yes.
I recently have noticed, especially since my dad's passing in March, that clouds are taking on this amazing, amazing life for me. And so that often, I call it my dad, but it could be my dad connected to all of the other beings.
Right. They are.
That live in, what we call on the other side of the veil.
Yes, we are connected to them as
spirit.
Well. Yes.
But I see something and I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Thank you. So however you see things or feel things or connect with things, I give you an invitation, all of you who are listening, to let go of the having to understand it.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Just let the message come in. Let them come in and connect with you. Don't worry about what they look like to you. Just as long as you're getting a message from them, that's exactly what we need to do. And when you go into meditation, the only thing you need to do is just be. That's all you need to do. And then you'll get messages much clearer that way. Stop worrying about where you're going to go or what you're going to see, and just be, and let them bring it into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we are, as I've mentioned before now, I'm opening up the phone lines on a regular basis now, and the phone lines are open for you. And the phone number, I believe, is up on your screen. But for those of you who may not be able to look at a screen, or you're hearing this maybe for the first time, the phone number that you call in for this show is 1-800-930-2819. And you can call us directly and talk to either Daniel or myself and ask us questions, ask for what you need, ask for clarification, ask for someone that has passed to give you a message, whatever it is that you need right now. I can pretty much guarantee you that that answer can come. And if it's not right now, in this hour, it will come.
Yeah.
What are some other ways that people can receive clarity and information, Daniel?
Well, as I always tell people, what we need to do first is we need to learn to listen, and we need to follow through. We get messages all the time. There's one way that we get a message that people don't even realize we're getting a message is when you get that high-pitched whistle in your ear, that ringing in your ear. That's actually a message that's being brought to you, but it's being brought to your soul. And then what usually happens is you wake up the next day and you have a brand new idea to do something. You didn't even realize you just got a message. But, you know, the world wants you to think that has to do something with your ears or your brain or something like that. But it's not, because that's a bunch of malarkey right there. But yeah, we get messages all the time. We get messages when in our mind. We get thoughts through our mind. We get thousands of them every day, but we don't act on all of them. And that's the thing. So, but even some of those messages that do come in, we just don't listen to them, and we don't follow through with them. Unfortunately, because the world narrative that goes on in this world wants us to not have any trust or have any faith within ourselves to listen to these messages. They want us to just brush everything off. So, but when you do get something, when you do hear something, when you get a voice that comes in, listen to it. Now, you also have to be, you have to discern which one of those voices are telling you to do something good, or if one's telling you to do something that's not so good. And then you have to learn to pay attention to that as well. But when they're telling you to do something good, or even if I always tell people in this type of way, when you're driving down the street in your car and you see a car in front of you, and you get that gut feeling because you say, oh, I want to pass that car. And you said, no, don't pass the car. Don't pass the car. It's very simple. And the best way to figure out who is not listening is when you're later on in the hospital talking to your friend who just got into a car accident, and they tell you, hey, Pam, you know what? I saw this car in front of me. And then they say these 3 words. I just knew. When they say that, I just knew, that means, yes, they just got a message. But they decided to use their free will too much about themselves and to change that. And then the things happen in a way that just doesn't work out for them. So, you know, again, listen and follow through. We get all kinds of messages, but we have to learn to listen, because Spirit is not here to, if you have messed up your life, it's up to you to fix it, but they will try to ease us through our lives the best that we can. So we have to listen to what they say and then follow through with what they tell us to do. If we try to use our free will just a little bit too much and try to enhance that, it's not really enhancing it. You're getting a perfect message. Follow through with that perfect message. If you need an answer to something else, then ask for that question. Don't try to manipulate it into something else, because you're going to end up down the road. It's not going to work out for you. So the Spirit is very black and white with their answers. They're trying to help us as much as we can. They don't want to make anything vague because they want to help us, but we do have to try to figure it out, because interpretation is another thing as well. But yeah, as long as we learn to listen and follow through, we'll be okay. We just have to learn to do that the most.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I talk a lot about in this show is receiving support. We have probably more support today in this time frame of history than probably we ever have. And with that, it's if you were to stop and pause, let's just do this, actually.
Yeah,
let's just do this as an exercise, okay? So those of you who are listening right now, either right now or later down the road when you hear this episode, just pause and put your hand on your heart and ask your heart a question. And connect in with that part of you that is your wise self. And ask your wise self, how do I know that I'm receiving divine guidance? And that specific answer will be yours to hear when you ask that question. Just take a minute, ask that question. For those of you who have not received an answer, you think you haven't received an answer, trust that you will receive it at the right time. So when I asked that question, what I heard, and I've been getting this message a lot, is trust.
Bingo.
I hear trust, not only trust, but trust myself,
right.
Trust what I'm hearing, trust the path, right?
Yes.
Trust. That's a big word, especially for those of you who have mistrusted or felt like your trust has been betrayed in some way.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, it's like, okay, am I willing to trust again? Am I willing to open to the possibility that I am guided, that I am taken care of, that the universe does love me, that, you fill in that blank, whatever that is. Am I willing to trust that? Am I willing to be willing? That's another key phrase there, right?
That's a big one too. Oh boy.
Yeah. Am I willing to be willing? That's something to work with. Try that on if you're not quite there yet, and practice, practice, and practice, and practice, and practice. So with that, we are going to take a little break here, but I would like to talk to Daniel a little bit more and hear his story about how he came into this world of connection to spirit on a daily basis and how he helps other people with that, because we would like to hear from some of you who are listening to this program and would like some assistance. So we're going to take a break and come back. And when we come back, we're going to hear more from Daniel and his story and hear about all the wonderful things he's up to, including what I hear is his new book. So we will be right back, and hopefully we will hear from you. We are talking to Daniel Jackson from, do you have a name of your business, actually?
My business name, we were actually happy to get when we were trying to choose a business name for our LLC. We had like 20 different names, and one that we did not think we would get actually came through. It's called Beyond the Veil.
Nice. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, not too shabby, right?
That's great. Yeah. So in your mind, or what you've been told, does that name indicate really what you do as a service to the world?
Yes, absolutely. Because I myself am able to see beyond the veil in my regular day, in my regular vision. Just like if you were to look at your wall behind you, what color is your wall? It's like a beige color, correct?
Mm-hmm.
To you, it's beige, not to me. I see it's also beige, and I also see a blue mist in that. But I see a blue mist in everything. So what I'm seeing everywhere that I look, I see energy. I see spirit 24/7 and never turns off. It never goes away. For me, it's like being in a room with 1,000 people, except nobody leaves and more just keep coming in. I see more of them in the darkness, but I can see them in the daylight as well. And if I were to stare into your wall, I would start seeing faces. So I try not to do that so often because, then they want to tell me a bunch of things that are just sometimes relevant. A lot of it is irrelevant. It's just what they're talking about wherever they are.
Okay.
Because they talk about everything because they are still they are still themselves. So they're not always talking about some secret special message that they have for us. Sometimes they're just talking amongst each other. But yes, I see them around me all the time. I see what we would call heaven. It's just another place. And then I also see the earthbound spirits as well. But yeah, I can see beyond the veil.
Wonderful. Okay. So Daniel has written a book called The New Beginning, I believe
Yeah.
it's called.
Yes,
Yes.
The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium.
That's wonderful. And you wrote that. How long did it take you to write that book?
I started in September of 2021, and I was, no, I'm sorry, I started in August of 2021, and then I finished it by the end of October of
Wow, that's
2021.
really fast.
Yeah, well, the reason and I had to get it down as quick as I can too, because like I said, my own thoughts are really no longer mine anymore. I'm changing because spirit, my guides are changing me all the time. They're working on my soul all the time. I actually feel them doing it, touching me, and because they are doing that, I'm losing a lot of my memory very quickly. Like I said, I'm only about 15% me at present time, and so I'm losing so much of my memory. I had to get this down and get it on paper as quick as I could.
Got it.
But even like I said, when I was writing the book, I knew the names of 15 of these archangels that would touch my face, and I know exactly who's touched me and where. And now I'm up to 37.
Okay.
But yeah, I started it in August, and I finished it in October, and then my wife and I picked up and moved where we were living in Delaware, and now we live out in Arizona. And so in between that time, we had a lot of moving to do. I didn't have time to really put this to an editor, but when we got here to Arizona, I finally submitted everything to an editor. And the entire story is about me and how everything happened to me, all the events that happened throughout this period of me becoming a medium. But it was a long time because I had been seeing spirit ever since I was 3 years old, and but it's all chronological order of everything that happened to me. But at the very end of this book, there's a chapter 12. It's called The Basics, and the basics are these. These are 25 channeled messages from my guides, archangels, of what God wants us to know. So it's more important that people get to chapter 12, but I know the story of me and how everything happened to me would be very interesting to read for people.
Okay, great. So if you're interested, folks, in Daniel's book, Jacob, can you put that link up on the screen for them, please?
Amazon.
Yes, I did send that to you somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, folks, if you want that, it is on Amazon, and it is for sale.
Yeah, it's a paperback and also an ebook. Eventually, we're going to do a spoken word book because everyone who I know, other friends of mine, people who did endorsements for me for the book, I sent them a copy, and they say every time they read it, it sounds like my voice is telling them the story.
Nice, I love that. So
they said you should do a spoken word book, and we're eventually going to do that.
Wonderful. Okay, so my guides are saying give people an example. So they want to
Sure.
give the audience an example of what you do through me. So as I mentioned, my dad just recently passed in March, and he would be someone who's beyond the veil, as well as his brother Bill. And yeah, as far as my side of the family,
well, I will tell you the good news about that is because not everyone does cross over. Some of them remain here earthbound, but they have both crossed over. But I'm trying to figure out between the two of them.
Jerry and Bill. Jerry's my dad.
Your father's. Is he here for that? So I'm asking questions right now, and I'm being touched on my face. They put like a question. They'll put a question into my mind for me to ask. I will ask it, and then we'll touch my face, and then I'll ask it. Was that exactly what you were saying? And then I can touch my face. Yes, because I get yes and no answers on my face, and it immediately happens like that. But you still feel your father around you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Yeah.
The reason why you feel him around you all the time. is because he's here to be a spirit guide for you.
Nice. That's that's the message I got too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So in the way that you can work that or understand that is, say you wanted to buy a red car and you told your dad, I want to buy a red car. And he knows exactly what car it is because he's always with you all the time. I mean, even if you were to drive 3 hours away, he would still be with you all the time. He doesn't actually move anywhere because there's no time and space there. And you would say to him, Dad, I want to buy this red car. Should I buy the red car is the question you're asking, because either the red car is going to be beneficial to you or not, or you riding in that particular car is going to be beneficial to you or not. And you would ask him for that. And then what he would do is he would bring you a sign that you know that it's your dad bringing it to you. And when he brings you the sign, then he's going to connect with your soul, which runs your body, because it's not your brain. Your brain just makes the little parts work. That's all. The memories and everything that you have within you are within your soul. It's not in your brain, because each time we come back over and over and over again, what makes up who you are now is all the memories and all the experiences you've had previous lifetimes. And this is what makes up your personality, your sense of humor, all those types of things. So he's going to connect with your soul, which is going to get your body to turn and move and see these things and hear these things and notice these things. You may hear the sign in a song, or you may hear it on TV, or you may read it somewhere. And as long as you get that sign 3 or 4 times in a short amount of time, within like a day or two, then that means absolutely go buy the red car. What it doesn't mean is go buy the red car, but take some of the money instead of making a full payment and going to buy some jewelry instead. And then that's not what it means, because again, if you're asking a specific question, you will get a specific answer. But sometimes we like to use our free will or our ego just a little bit too much, because these are things, especially the ego. This is something we learned how to have here. And then you use it to change it around a little bit. When you try to manipulate this perfect answer that you just got, then it's not going to go well for you eventually at some point. So if you want to buy some jewelry, then ask a question about jewelry, but don't try to mix the two or try to change it around. But absolutely, he's going to help you with that. But all you have to do, again, like we talked about before, is listen and follow through. When he gives you the answer, go buy the red car. Because you're going to have experiences in that red car, using that red car for certain things in your life that are going to be beneficial to you. But he's always here to help us. He's always here to help you. But all you have to do is learn to ask them specific questions. And you can ask anything that you want to, because he is here to guide you through the rest of your life until it's time for you to leave, so that you can ultimately fulfill your purpose, because we're here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose. But a lesson can be anything. I can pick up a towel and put it down, and that's a lesson. I can pick another one up and drop it. It's not a good lesson or a bad lesson. It's just a lesson. And what's the lesson to learn is to grip it a little bit tighter so I don't drop it the next time. But fulfilling the purpose is the important part. That becoming a teacher or a doctor is not your purpose. You're going to fulfill your purpose by doing one thing, and that's by being human. Because God, the higher power, he made it simple for all of us to do, so everyone can do it. When anyone says, oh, I'm going to fulfill my purpose, it's going to be so much more special than you. No, that's your ego talking. You need to learn to let that go. We can all fulfill our purpose, and our purpose is very simple. We are here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not just because you can, but because you should. But in a physical way, because we are in a physical world, someone will come up to you and ask you, Pam, excuse me, Miss, I'm lost. Can you help me find my way? And maybe some people out there just don't like people, or they're just not wanting to associate with the rest of the world. If you want to do that, fine, go ahead, because all you're going to do is end up on the alternative path, which is going to have you keep coming back over and over and over again. But we are here to help each other. I mean, if we were not here to help anyone, there wouldn't be 7 billion of us. So we're all here to intermingle with each other and take care of each other. But that's what our purpose is. And your Father is trying to get you to complete that so that you don't have to make a return trip. Because that's the true reason why we make a return trip, because we fulfill our purpose throughout our lives, but they want us to do it a certain amount. We just don't always get a chance to do that, or life gets in the way. these types of things. But this is just daily life. But they know that they can bring us back again, because no one lives to be 150 years old. I mean, besides, at that point, it's going to hurt to pee, and who wants to be here for that? So you're going to be here for as long as you're supposed to be here. And then if you didn't get the purpose done fulfilled this time, they'll just bring you back again, do it all over again. But if you have your Father here to help you, I mean, who else knows you better than you? You know, I mean, that's awesome. You know? And sometimes we get relatives that come in and are our spirit guides for us, but we mainly have two spirit guides for us: a man who helps us with the more masculine decisions, and a female who helps us with more nurturing type decisions. But these decisions are running through our minds all the time. Like I said, we don't always act on all of them. But this is your dad. I mean, he's your dad this time, but maybe the previous time before, when he was here, he may have been your brother, because we all come back the same time over and over and over again in the same family circle. We just have different roles sometimes. But he was your dad this time around, so he really knows you. So he knows how to help you the best that he can with the advice he gave you your entire life, and now he's going to do it within his spiritual life as well.
That's so awesome.
You got to learn to listen and follow through, but I'm not worried about you. You got this down already. So I mean,
thank you for all that information. So those of you who are listening, that is an example of a spirit guided message from Daniel for Beyond the Veil. Like that's what Daniel does, is he's able to connect in with those who have passed. If you're interested in finding out about your loved ones that have passed, Daniel would be a great person for that. And we do have a little bit of time left. If you want to hear from him directly, you can call us on 1-800-930-2819, or you can type in your question. He also connects in with guidance, obviously, and asks.
I get information. I can get information about your loved ones who passed away, but sometimes they themselves come in. But most of the time when I'm getting information, I'm getting my information from archangels, because they are connected to everyone, as we are all connected to each other. But they have anyone from around the world can ask me a question, and I can get the answer.
That's great. That's awesome. So if you were to connect in with the collective of those that are connected to Transformation Talk Radio, and this particular, whether you call it a podcast or a radio show or whatever you call this.
Help. I call it help.
Help. Yes. Is there a general message that keeps coming through that people need to hear?
Yes. The general message in this world is we're here to work together. What we need to do most of all is we need to stop listening to the narrative that is out in the world that is basically telling us to conspire against each other, to pit us against each other, to stop segregating ourselves from ourselves. We have to learn to stop listening to that, because it's not working for us, and it's causing more negativity than it is positivity. And more or less, the only thing that our so-called leaders in this world are doing are trying to lead us away from each other. We need to stop listening to that. We are here together for a reason. There are, like I said, there are over 7 billion of us. I always tell people, we all live on the same planet. No one's going anywhere anytime soon, so we better start to get along with each other before we annihilate each other, because we're here to take care of each other. We're here to share everything in the world, because there's enough of everything in the world for every single person. We could take care of each other, where I could be a doctor just to heal people, and not because I want to driving a BMW or a Mercedes. We could do these things just because once we get to that point, our wants and needs would change. We could all have a Porsche, and we could all put the little sparkly, shiny things on the Porsche that makes that Porsche shiny and beautiful. But because before that, we were only getting a portion so we could prove how much better I am than someone else, or how much power I have over someone else, or I'm more special than someone else. Whereas we are all special in this world. We are all equals in this world. So if we could all have the same thing that made that Porsche all look very shiny, then there would be no point to prove at that moment anymore, because we would all understand if we can all have it, then we are all equal, because we are all equal. And we need to take care of each other and have respect for each other in that same vein, that we are all equal. And then at that point, all of our wants and needs would change. We wouldn't be using money anymore. We would be doing things because I can do this for you and you can do this for me. And that is helping each other throughout this world. And that's the message that Spirit is trying to bring us, to learn to work together, instead of trying to, like I said, segregate ourselves from each other. It's just not, it's not working what we're doing right now. It's not getting us to a point where we need to be in this world. Unfortunately, what we did a long time ago is we relinquished the power over to what we referred to as kings and queens. And now those modern day kings and queens still hold the power against us. We need to learn to take that power back so that we can all realize that we're all equal in this world. And until we do that, unfortunately, we are all going to be slaves to this world. And we're not. We're in this together. I know the president said that, back with 2020 with COVID. But before he said it, we all need to realize we are all in this world together. We always have been. And we're here for a reason. And that reason is helping each other. We place value on the wrong things in this world. We've lost the true value in this world, which is us. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to an understanding that we are here to take care of each other. And then we can move forward as one race, the human race.
I love that. I love that. Yes, I have mentioned over and over and over again in this show that we are spiritual beings first.
Yes.
And we chose, our souls chose to be here. The
contract.
We chose to be here on this planet Earth.
To learn.
So do not let yourself think that you are a victim to being a human, folks.
No, we're all here for a reason.
Yes, you chose, you who are listening. Yes, I'm talking to you. You chose to be here. Even if you think this life sucks, even if you think that it's terrible, even if you think that it's rotten, even if you think it's broken, well, guess what? What is your part? Take responsibility. Yes. Allow yourself to take responsibility for your part in repair.
Yeah, that whole narrative of the world wants us to think the world sucks and thinks we shouldn't have faith in ourselves or trust within ourselves. They want us to feel that way so that we can completely rely on them for everything. But we don't have to do that. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. What you have is this body. You have this meat suit here. And that's why your soul is here, because the only way your soul can be in this physical world is by being within this physical body, learning these physical lessons. But we don't need to listen to them telling us how we should be doing things, or what kind of person we need to be, or what kind of person we've always been. I don't pay attention to the astrological signs and all that stuff, because I'm not going to read a newspaper and let this little article in there tell me or say what kind of person I am. I know what kind of person I am, or what kind of person I can be throughout the choices that I make throughout my day. Don't listen to them tell you who you are. You define who you are. You don't need them to define who you are. They're not walking in your shoes. They like to tell us one day to eat bacon, but the next day don't eat bacon. You know what? If I'm going to eat a piece of bacon, it's because I think bacon tastes great. So I'm going to do that. But still, we have to learn to take care of ourselves. We could heal ourselves. We could get back to that. We used to be able to do that a long time ago. But they took that away from us because they didn't want us to know how much power and control we have over ourselves, instead of them telling us how much power and control they have over us. We need to stop listening to that and start listening to ourselves, start listening to our higher self that is within us, because that's where the truth is.
Amen. So those of you who are listening, we have just a few minutes left. This is really about you. We use this word sovereignty in this day and age. What does that really mean? That means that you, as a soul, as I mentioned, chose to be here in a human body. And you, as a soul, get to be the dictator or the navigator or the one, the one who gets to say the way your life goes. Yeah. Okay. In religion, we have what is termed as a God or a creator, right? Creator of all that is. I believe in creator of all that is. I believe that the creator of all that is created everything here on this planet so that we can thrive. Okay. Now, you don't have to believe that. You get to choose how you believe. That's sovereignty, choosing how you believe. So, as a sovereign being in a human body, make sure that the choices that you make from this point forward are ones that support you and your personal growth, your spiritual growth. That's what this particular episode is about. That's what Transformation Talk Radio is committed to, your growth, your path. And Daniel and I are both committed to that. Absolutely. In our own way, in the gifts that we are here to give. So Daniel, how can people could find you when they're not listening to you here on Transformation Talk Radio?
They can find me if they want to book a reading with me, or if they themselves are having the same type of experiences that I did, finding out that I was a medium. They can go to my website and either book a reading, or they can book a free call with me, so I can, because I'm told very quickly who does and who does not have this ability. There's a lot of people out there who say they have this ability, and I know they're not telling the truth, but that's okay. But they'll get that figured out eventually. But they can find me at www.spiritmediumdaniel.com. It's one long word, spiritmediumdaniel.com. And like I said, they can book a reading with me, or they can book a call with me, and we can talk about these abilities they think they may have. And also, they can. There's a link on that page for where they can order my book if they want to, or if they want to order a signed copy of the book from me, it'll just come directly from me, and I'll sign it for them. They can. Yeah, I know, right? Because why not? And how much extra does that cost? It doesn't. I just charge them the shipping. That's all. So no big deal. And they can also find me. We have a website. Our own podcast as well. It's called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, me. And they can find that at www.beyond-the-veil.com. And then also they can find my book as well, my cool book. Yeah. And it's called Daniel Jackson, The New Beginning, My Awakening as a Spirit Medium. They can find that on Amazon. Just put in Daniel Jackson, The New Beginning, in the search bar, and they'll find the book there. And it's like I said, it's $8, and it's in paperback, or I think it's $6.49 for the ebook.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here, Daniel. As always, we are thrilled that you have chosen to join us in this last hour, folks. And we are always here every Thursday from noon to 1 on Transformation Talk Radio, and that's Pacific time. I am Pam Bright, and I am your host for this show, and I can't wait to connect with you next week. Next week, I'm going to take the show on myself.
Cool.
And do some channeling for you. You get 2 weeks, actually, of that from me. So, we just always open up to what's available. And we are all about you, the listener, you, the sovereign being who's tuning in. And Daniel, thank you for joining us. We need to go because we are back-to-back shows on this Transformation Talk Radio, which is great.
Cool, right?
So we are going to sign off now, folks, and we will see you next week, Thursday at noon Pacific, noon to 1, and be well and know that you are totally loved by me and the creator of all that is. Have a blessed day, folks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to learn more about living a fully empowered life. Remember that your life is up to you, and you can choose the spiritual path you are on. There is spiritual energy and wisdom in everything and everyone around you. Listen carefully for what the universe is trying to tell you in every moment. You are already being guided along your journey. Call upon your spirit guides anytime you need help with anything. Know that you are safe in every moment, even if it seems that you are not. For more information about Pam Bright, visit brightbutterflyenterprises.com or email theempowermeshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you next week.